Let's roll, baby. Welcome in a special Monday night edition of New York, New York. It's JJ John Jastrzemski live on YouTube. Of course, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, all that wonderful stuff. And on a night where we said goodbye to a New York icon, the New York teams certainly honored the legacy of the late, great John Sterling in the best possible way imaginable. And I have a lot of thoughts on the late John Sterling, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. From Jump Street here, though, I can get used to these New York Knicks ass whoopings. I can get used to this. It's beautiful. It's stress-free. It's painless. And it's been exemplary basketball. Since the Knicks fell behind 2-1 against the Atlanta Hawks, they have done nothing but lay the smackdown. We saw it in 3 consecutive games against Atlanta. And as we got ready for this first game against the Philadelphia 76ers, yes, the Knicks were given a beautiful position to hit the ground running in this series, knowing that Boston and Philly played a grueling war of a 7-game series that ended Saturday night around 11 o'clock. Philly doesn't have a whole lot of depth to begin with. And in theory, they were going to be behind the 8 ball with the way it all shook out. That means you got to go and take advantage of that. And to the Knicks' credit, in what was a 137-98 victory. No, I did not make a mistake. I am not blowing the score out of proportion. The final score of this game was 137-98, with the Knicks bench basically getting extended garbage time, basically getting the walk-ons in for the final 10 to 12 minutes of the game. That is what you witnessed. That is what you watched. And the Knicks wiped the floor with the Philadelphia 76ers. So how did they do it? First things first, they got a monster game out of Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was cooking here, there, and everywhere. And there was a lot of chatter in this series going in about Tyrese Maxey, and rightfully so. He's a phenomenal player. He had a great series when they played the Knicks 2 years ago, averaged 30-plus points per game. I understood why Maxey was getting talked up. I was as guilty of it as anybody. But I also told you guys going into this series, let's not ignore the series that Jalen Brunson had 2 years ago against the Sixers, when he had the monster game 4, when he had the monster closeout game 6. And Philadelphia has a problem in this series because defensively, they can't figure out what they're going to do with Joel Embiid. They put Joel Embiid in that drop coverage, and my goodness, the Knicks were cooking them every which way imaginable. That mid-range could not have been any easier for the Knicks. The shots that the Knicks were getting couldn't have been better looks. How is that changing for the Sixers? That people are going to talk about this bad spot, and they're going to talk about Philadelphia being compromised. How is this changing for Philly? What are they doing with Embiid? What is their answer for Brunson? Well, Brunson was cooking and then some. Had 27 points in the first half. 27 points. The Knicks at halftime was shooting as a team 66% from the field. 66%. That's not fatigue from Philly on defense. That's some well-executed offense, too. And what have the Knicks been able to do? First quarter, it's Brunson. Second quarter, it's Karl Anthony Towns. He got into foul trouble in the first quarter. You know Embiid is going to be flopping around like crazy. That's his MO. Jaylen Brown doesn't like it. Other players around the league don't like it. That's what Embiid is going to do. He's going to flop a lot. You're going to see that in the series. He's going to try to get Towns into foul trouble. So Towns picked up the 2 early fouls and then locked in second quarter offensively and defensively and was stupendous. Absolutely, positively stupendous. playing aggressively, shooting the threes in rhythm, playing within the offense. It continues to be the best version of Karl Anthony Towns that we have seen in a New York Knicks uniform. What about OG Anunoby? What a postseason for OG Anunoby. He's knocking down shots. He's attacking the rim. I mean, Anunoby in this game was 7 of 8 from the field. Towns was 7 of 11 from the field. Brunson was 12 of 18 from the field. And what do we talk about with this Knicks group? Balance, balance, balance. Well, you know who gave you even more balance? Mikal Bridges. This is now back-to-back quality games out of Bridges. Going to giving you 17 and 7 of 10 from the field. So what I'm getting at after this game one is, sure, you're going to get a better version of the Sixers. I don't think anybody would deny that. I don't think anybody would argue that. The problem that better version of the Sixers is going to run into, you're getting the best version that we've seen of this Knicks team all season long. They're playing together. They're defending at a high level. They're cooking on offense. They're moving the basketball, and they're taking no prisoners. Hey, they're the first team in the history of the association. Think about this for a minute. First team in the history of the NBA to win 3 consecutive playoff games by 25-plus points. 3 consecutive games, 25-plus points. That's crazy, crazy stuff. So we're not going to make the mistake that we made in the Hawks series, amending our series prediction. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I'm totally fine keeping my Knicks in 6. I do think the star power of Philly will be heard from in this series. Like, there's going to be a monster Maxey game. There's going to be a monster Embiid game. But what's Joel Embiid's answer defensively? Sure. Joel Embiid could go and get you 30, 35 points. Might see that in game 2 for all we know. What are you doing with Embiid on defense? He looked like he couldn't move watching him in this game. Looked like he couldn't move. Now you're in a spot where he's going to be playing a lot more. Got news for you. This game on Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Madison Square Garden. Friday, down in Philadelphia, 7 o'clock. These are quick turnarounds. Then they play again on Sunday. And the Sixers, look at their bench. Who's coming off the bench? Quentin Grimes? Andre Drummond? That's the problem for Philadelphia. Their starting 5's really good. I'm an Edgecombe guy. I think he's a really good player. George had a good postseason. He had a good series against the Celtics. But how's he getting through these 7 games? So, conditioning, advantage Knicks. Overall depth, advantage Knicks. Toughness, advantage Knicks. Home court advantage, not just at the Garden. Sorry, Philadelphia. Home court advantage, somewhat in Philadelphia. Advantage Knicks. There's a lot to like here. And beyond just this game 1, what you're seeing in these last couple of games is the sort of rise and the sort of growth. A team, dare I say, trying to make their move and taking that next step. That's what it feels like to me. This is a Knicks team on the ascent. This is a Knicks team on the rise. This is a Knicks team saying, hey, guess what? We're much better than we were a year ago. We're much better than we were 2 years ago. That cohesion, that chemistry, that was not there for this team offensively last year. It wasn't. Cat had moments. Bridges had moments. Anunoby had moments, but this notion of being able to play together was lacking. You're seeing it now. And the only question you're going to have, Knicks been on easy streak these last couple of games. Hey, all you need to know about this game, fourth quarter, I'm getting an SNY, and I time it perfectly where I leave at halftime. I get in, I walk in, the third quarter is about to begin. We got to the fourth quarter of this game, and you knew what the lineup was. Kolek was out there. Diawara was out there. Shamit. All right, Alvarado was out there. Okay. There's 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we're holding court out in the newsroom. Talking Met-Gala, talking Wemby, talking anything but Knicks Sixers. It's game one of a playoff series because the Knicks are up by 40-something points. It's like watching, a glorified scrimmage at the end of these games. Great. I hope it continues. I can get used to this. I know my blood pressure is about to go through the roof. I know there's going to be times, maybe on Wednesday night, maybe it's in Philadelphia, maybe it's in the conference final. Who the hell knows? Where the blood once again gets boiling from this group and gets boiling from this team. But it's pretty wild. The Knicks were down 2-1 against the Atlanta Hawks. Same group. Same team. Down 2-1 against the Hawks. And have taken no prisoners ever since. What a way to start off the Eastern Conference semifinals. That's a statement. And those liabilities for Philadelphia, guarding the pick and roll, dealing with the Knick balance, trying to figure out what to do with Joel Embiid on the court. How is that changing? That's really my question for Nick Nurse and the Sixers. How is that changing by Wednesday night? You tell me. I think it's incredibly advantageous for the Knicks. It's not going to be this easy. Philly will be heard from. But there's a lot to like about a couple of the matchups here in this series. And keep getting ready for me to keep hammering home this point. Knicks better be in the NBA Finals. And that's what I'm dreaming about. Winning 3 more games in this series, winning another 4 games, and doing something this team has not done since 1999. That was the mandate. That was the goal at the beginning of the year. They're 7 wins away from that, and then you really can start to dream. But one step at a time, shall we? Now, today was a very sad day. We lost John Sterling. I woke up first thing in the morning and got 10 zillion texts on this. And as someone that grew up a 90s kid and a Yankee fan, this really hits home. And you got to remember something. John Sterling is like the soundtrack of your life if you're a Yankee fan. It's the soundtrack of your life. Every big Yankee moment, every big Yankee call, Sterling was on the microphone. I mean, after all, he called 5,000 consecutive games in a row, for goodness sakes. And I'm a guy, when I was a little kid, I didn't have the TV in the room. I'm talking when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. And I was always one of those kids that used to fall asleep to the radio, whatever the game was on. And more often than not, it was 770 and the Yankees and John Sterling and Michael Kay. So if it was the Dwight Gooden no-hitter, which I vividly remember, John Sterling on the call. All of the incredible home run calls. Burn, baby, burn. A thriller by Godzilla. Aaron Guile wears a smile. I mean, I could go on and on. Didi Gregorius makes Yankee fans euphorious. A Stantonian blast. I mean, I could do this for 2 hours. What am I getting at, though? John was beyond just a broadcaster. And I can understand why, the the buttoned up broadcaster type would say, "Oh, he was so outside the box. Oh, I didn't know what was going on." He was there to entertain. And for a brand as big as the Yankees, he fit the Yankees as a broadcaster perfectly because his presence and his bravado and his unique style was unlike anything you were going to find listening across the sport as far as guys doing games. And I think it's an absolute joke he's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he had an incredible career. And on a personal level, look, I hate to go down this road because, listen, for me, just getting to listen to Sterling do Yankee games my entire life is cool enough. But then you get the opportunity to work in a business. And I'll never forget, this was, I want to say I was in college. So it was I want to say 2009. So I reach out to Sterling. I had my producer in college, the great Brian Patrick Corley, reach out to John Sterling. And I'm like, just give him a call, text him. Screw it. What's the worst that happens? He doesn't answer? Okay, whatever. And mind you, there's no Twitter, there's no Instagram DM. Well, there was Twitter, but nobody had it. I did, but nobody did. It was just a totally, totally different world. I want everybody to imagine 2009 coming up as like a young broadcaster doing radio. And I remember how excited I was. It was like opening day, 2009 season. He's in Baltimore in a hotel. He's like, "Well, you know, John, I'll do the spot. I'm just going to get myself a cocktail and sit down and we'll have a little fun here." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm talking to John fucking Sterling. This is great." So he does the spot. It's great. I have the sound. He did a little voiceover for our radio show in college. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is John Sterling. I meet him years later when I'm doing radio in New York at the Fan. And did John remember? No shot. I mean, come on now. No shot. But when I worked at the radio station, the idea that John Sterling would listen to me coming home from games was pretty damn cool. So, like, when you would have these moments where I'd be at the ballpark and John's like, "Well, hello, John. How are you?" You know, like it'd be the coolest shit ever. And we're going to rip some calls. I want to get some reaction to this Knicks game, reaction to the late, great John Sterling. And I got a bunch of YouTube comments I want to read as well. The link is there if you want to get in on the show. You can leave a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff with the YouTube stream. Of course, we'll have this posted as a pod later on tonight. But I am going to share an outrageous John Sterling voicemail that I got that I will save on my phone for forever, because this was right when he retired or announced that he was stepping away, and then he came back, did the postseason, the World Series, the whole deal. I was, believe it or not, at Stu Finer's father's funeral. I know this is taking a weird turn. People are like, JJ, what is happening here? But why do I bring this up? I'm at the service, and I get a call. And I'm like, okay. And the only reason I knew is because I see it on my watch. I have the Apple Watch going. And it's John Sterling. And I'm like, I can't take this. I'm in a funeral service. I can't be rude. I can't leave. I'm not going to do that to my guy, Stu. So I'm like, and then my phone is like, you could tell, you know, like with Apple where somebody's recording a voicemail. I see I'm getting a voicemail from Sterling. I'm like, what could this be? And I'll play the voicemail. I've had it saved. I feel like we should share. I've seen a couple of people do this. The John voicemails were worth the price of admission. The point I'm getting at, though, is this is a guy who really cared about people. He cared about the relationships he had. He built them within the Yankees. He built them within the media industry. He's one of a kind. There will never be another John Sterling. I say that without hesitation. And for me, that's all you could hope for as a broadcaster. That you're never going to be one-upped by anyone. There'll never be another Sterling. Lucky I got to know him. He's an icon. May he rest in peace. All right. On that note, let's welcome in Ryan, leadoff spot. Get us going. May Rose, what's up, bro?
JJ.
How about that diatribe there? Sterling,
You were
Knicks. That's when you know it was a loaded Monday night.
You were doing a lot of name dropping there. I love it.
It was
Stu Feiner.
my pal Francesco, who I love very much, mentioning the doctor. But I needed to kind of tell the story of John. Like this requires telling the story of John, you know?
Absolutely. You should know. I've followed your journey throughout, man. It's very cool what you've been able to do and the people you've crossed paths with. So it's awesome. But this Knicks team, man, I'm so happy to see the plan coming to fruition from the front office and the change to Mike Brown. I think you were a Thibodeau supporter too.
Oh, I was skeptical. Yeah, I was a Thibodeau supporter. You're absolutely right. You're right.
But this team feels different from last year just because it feels like they can sustain this success. They're deeper. It's not as if they're grinding out like with the same 6 guys. I'm psyched, man. I'm loving what I'm seeing. If Tyler Kola can get into every game, we're in business.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Ryan, let's be honest. Let's be honest about something. This is probably the best Knicks team of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
I know we could talk about 1994. 1997 is close. 99, I mean, was a fluky run to the finals. Ewing was hobbled, was on one leg. The team was an 8 seed, even though they weren't really an 8 seed. This team has been building to this point. They've been building to it. They've had some pitfalls in the postseason. They've evolved as an offense. And yeah, to your point on what they are as a team, last year or 2 years ago, it felt like, hey, we need Jalen Brunson to go and put the Superman cape on every night in order for us to win. Now you're at a point where, yeah, he's going to do that from time to time. Yeah, he did that in the first half, but Karl Anthony Towns can do it. OG Anunoby can do it. Hey, even this game, Mikal Bridges actually got it going.
Bridges.
Ryan,
he finally woke up.
When they're balanced like this and everybody's getting involved in the proceedings, that's when the Knicks are a championship caliber team.
It feels like it's going to happen this year. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but you said it before. Finals. Like this has
All right, so when you say it's going to happen, I got to jump in on that, though. You're talking finals now. You're not talking about the idea of beating the team out of the Western Conference.
No. I think, like I said, they're
a dream. Let's get there. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. Let's get there.
They're progressing every year. Like, this is satisfying to see them, make good decisions with the roster, make the tough changes with the coach. But, last year they made the Eastern Conference Finals. So let's progress to the finals. I don't want to say or guarantee a win. I'm scarred like every Knicks fan, but I think they can make it. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
You should be feeling good. Listen, the team is humming. They've won 3 straight games, Ryan, by 25-plus points. Is that good?
Never
I don't know.
Before. Before I go, John, what's the most niche Sterling home run call? Like one of a player that was like barely there or was like surprising that he even had a call for?
Oh, that's a great question. Appreciate it, Ryan. Good start. I'll give you 2 because we were going through them today at SOI. One of them I vividly remember. It's so weird. The guy was on the Yankees for like 5 minutes. Aaron Guile. Yeah, people listening are probably like, who is Aaron Guile? So, utility outfielder. Where's the smile? I like that one. And the Bronx's Vernon was another good one. I was a big fan of the Bronx's Vernon. My favorite Sterling call, though, if I had to give you top 3 Sterling home run calls. A thriller by Godzilla. I think that's number 1 for me. I love that one. 2, it's a classic, Burn Baby Burn, which, by the way, was really the first of these calls. And then it kind of evolved over time. And then if I had to give you a third one, they're all good. It's tough to pick, man. Those 2 stand out. If I had to give you a third, I think I'd go Didi Gregorius makes Yankee fans euphorious. I think that would be it. So, tough call. Bradley's up next. He joins us. Brad, what's up?
How about downtown goes Frazier, Clint Frazier.
Downtown goes Frazier is a good one.
That's a good one.
The milkman delivers, the Gardy party. I mean, dude, we could do this all day, dude.
The Todd Frazier, when Todd Frazier was here for that a couple months in 2017, that was a good one. Just a real quick, just giving my first off, my thoughts and prayers are out to John Sterling and his family. I'll tell you a quick story, right before I get to the Knicks comments. Obviously, of course, the Burn Baby Burn memory, it'll always be etched in our minds. The Scott Brocious one also in the 2001 World Series will always come to mind. My personal one, and this is a little I just remember being in the car, being there. I was in the car with my dad. It was 2011 when Derek Jeter hit his 3,000 hit. And he was doing that game, and it felt so surreal, just listening to that call as he hit that home run, and and he covered Derek Jeter and the core four from the start to the finish of their careers too. It just feels just so wholesome in that moment,
Well, listen, Brad, he was a part of your life, just like he was a part of my life, and that's the beautiful thing about a radio announcer for a baseball team. Unlike the other sports, let's be honest, the other sports don't have this. Football, and I'm not trying to knock the guys that do radio football. I think Bob Papa and Bob Wischusen are freaking amazing at what they do.
Yeah.
But how often are you in the car listening to a football game or a basketball game? Maybe 20 or 30 years ago, you might have been in that mold. Not as much now in 2025, 2026. But baseball is one of those sports. Hey, you're at the beach. The game is on the radio. You're at a barbecue. The game is on the radio. You're driving. You're on a long summer drive. You're going somewhere. Boom. The game is on. And listen, I got introduced to Sterling at the perfect time. I'm very, very grateful for that because I was a child in the 90s who came up. 94, 95 was when I really got into it. And it's, the series against Seattle and then all those great calls in 96. I mean, the call on the Lemke pop-up when they win the World Series, or the call, if you want to find it, of Bernie Williams hitting the walk-off against Randy Myers. I mean, dude, that's theater at its finest from a baseball announcer.
That was probably the golden age of listening to Yankees baseball on the radio during that time. There's no hands down. And that's all I got to say about that right now. On to the Knicks, though. It was a phenomenal night. I mean, what more can we say? I mean, the just bludgeoning the Sixers right out of the gate in game one. Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby. I'm just he's just gonna be the biggest X factor for them to get to go on this deep run into.
Well, because he gives them that third option, Bradley. That's the thing. When you have Anunoby cooking and he's engaged, he's giving you that third source of scoring. Where it's like, hey, he's attacking the rim, he's hitting the outside shot, and he's a damn good player. Hey, they have had Brunson, Cat, Anunoby seamlessly fitting in this thing. It's been unbelievable. It really has.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally it's working. It just keep going with that group. Jalen Brunson too, obviously turning into Superman tonight in that first half, 27. I mean, he always puts on a show when they play the Sixers. I mean, it's like his hometown team. You just expect that from Brunson at this point. And I'll tell you too, Mikal Bridges. For all the crap we gave him early in the Hawks series, he turned it on in Game 6. He turned it on again tonight. And he's part of the puzzle. Where we no matter what we think, he's part of the puzzle of how deep this team can go too, man. And I think we're still.
They need him. Hey, we talked about that in this Atlanta series. You are going to need something out of Bridges in order to go and win the Eastern Conference. And if you want to, dare I say, compete for the ultimate prize and be at the top of the mountain, this version of Mikal Bridges, which you've gotten each of the last two games, a very, very good thing, Bradley. Appreciate the call, man. Good stuff. Need Bridges. I'm down on him. He's not my favorite player. He's painful at times. You need Bridges. Let's take Mo, who's up next. Mo, what up?
JJ, what's up, man? How you doing?
Welcome, Mo. How we doing?
Yeah, man, that it's been more the same for us Knicks fans. I mean, just more belt to ass.
Yeah, the Knicks fan likes this belt to ass thing. I do too. I can
Yeah,
get used to
I
this
mean,
night in, night out.
JJ, this is I almost took a nap in the fourth quarter. I mean, the moment now I'll give Nick Nurse the credit for this. He did the right thing for not even
Yeah,
starting
he called
any
off
of the
the
guys.
dogs. He realized I won a game 7 Saturday. I'm down by 30 in the third quarter. Maybe I can rest my guys.
Yeah, and Embiid looked dead. Embiid looked really tired, even in the first half. And JJ, one thing I'm gonna get really tired of is seeing Nick Nurse complain the whole game. It's just gonna be so annoying for the whole series. I can't wait till the. I mean, that guy every single time down the court, they just flash at him, just yelling at the refs. It's like, how many more free throws do you guys want? I mean, you had over 20 in the first half, but I mean, when it didn't matter at the end of the day. Glad that the offense just looks so smooth, JJ. There's so much movement going on. Today Jalen Brunson was, I mean, just torching
Unstoppable.
hot.
No, he got whatever he wanted. He was unstoppable.
And there's a lot of people that are talking about how like no one can guard Maxey. I mean, there's nobody that can guard Brunson on that
Precisely.
team. I mean,
You nailed it.
Five different guys, JJ, took their turns on Brunson. I think it was one possession was Maxey, then it was Edgecombe, then it was Paul George. And all three of them were just they were all barbecue chicken for him. I mean, it was incredible to watch. And JJ OG Anunoby, I'm not sure if this guy's eating something in the morning that's causing him to play the way that he has been playing.
It's Anne Hathaway, baby. It's Anne
Yeah,
Hathaway.
I don't know.
That's it. It's the magic of the Devil Wears Prada. Mo, this is unreal basketball from this team. Again,
yeah,
we've never seen a team in NBA history win by 25 plus points in 3 consecutive playoff games. This Knicks team has been able to do it. And I think you're onto something here. You're going to get a better version out of Philly. They're going to be heard from at some point in this series. But the best of the Knicks, Mo, is better than the best of the 76ers, and it's why they're going to win this series.
Yeah, they have no depth. Philadelphia has zero depth. They have 5 players that can play. It's nice to see Quentin Grimes is back on his I mean, he was not good for us in his last kind of year being a Knick. Glad he's back on not being good for the Sixers. And also like you watch the games, JJ. Like if the Knicks run and an offense the way that they did today, there's no chance Philadelphia can stay with him. Embiid's not the same defender he used to be. Paul George is 36 years old. Edgecombe is a good player, but he's 20. And Maxey, I mean, kind of I don't know. I mean, he's gonna get his points. I just don't believe in that the 76ers have enough firepower to kind of
win
and
the series.
if the starters play even, JJ, if the starters play even, the bench is gonna just outscore their bench.
It's good night. It's good night.
It's a good night. Right.
Precisely, Mo. Good call. There's no Deuce McBride. There's no Jose Alvarado. There's no answers for Philadelphia on their bench. And how they getting Embiid through 7 games of this series? Can't move. Can't move. Now, it's a sad night, but I'm looking at tonight as a remembrance and a day of celebration of the life of John Sterling. I think that's really the way I'm trying to look at it because he meant so much to me, and I know he meant a whole lot to this guy. So it's a special night when a guy who worked in that Yankee booth with him, did pre and post, watched him cook, did games of his own. Nobody knows John, aside from Susan and Michael K. Emmanuel, they got you beat there, but you know John as well as anybody. Emmanuel Berbari, the great radio broadcaster with the New York Yankees, joins us. Buddy, sad day, but I'm loving all of the tributes and all of the celebrations and the appreciation for one of the best baseball broadcasters who ever lived.
Yeah, it was sad and it was somber, JJ, to start, but I really thought there was the proper level of celebration mixed in. I'm glad you mentioned Susan and Michael because I didn't even feel comfortable, sharing much today because those are the people who were with John through thick and thin, through everything. And I just got a front row seat to what you hear. You heard a lot about not just the broadcaster, but the man that John Sterling was and the kindness that he showed everyone he came across, whether it be colleagues or fans taking the time for everybody. I got a glimpse of that, and I was very grateful. We were all reflecting today in that, celebratory nature that we were lucky enough to spend a lot of time with this guy. and to appreciate that time while we still had it, because you didn't know when he was going to hang it up, and you didn't know when this day was come. It's inevitable for anybody, but we were all very grateful to learn from the best to ever do it, but also to experience the kindness that everybody's talking about.
Emmanuel, you were a part of very wonky 2024 because you don't normally have a broadcaster step away in the early going of a season and then come back and do the final games of the year and do the postseason. But if anybody was going to be given that sort of right, it's John Sterling, right? Like, it's the idea. And now I know the Yankees didn't win that 2024 World Series, but the fact that John in his final season, I don't know if you feel this way. I feel like it's so poetic that in his final year, he got to call a team that was playing in the Fall Classic because he did it for so many years throughout his broadcasting career.
Oh, no doubt it was fitting. And I was even talking to somebody at the stadium today, and we were like, wouldn't it have been nice if they won that World Series? Obviously, they didn't, but that would have been the only right way for John to go out. Because when you think about, John Sterling would have been an incredible broadcaster and had an incredible career in life anyway, but the momentum that the 90s dynasty fueled his career with, like, those calls are synonymous with the history of Yankee baseball now forever. And the one that gives you chills throughout the montage that they played at the stadium today, a terrific job by the Yankees with that tribute.
Oh, they're so good, Emmanuel. Those montages are so freaking good.
They give you goosebumps, and it really highlighted some of the monumental calls in his career. And the one that sticks out to me is Charlie Hayes making the catch off third. Yankees win the 1996 World Series. And to me, that was the start of, obviously, the Yankees rattling off those titles in the late 90s, but John being the soundtrack of it. It was a perfect marriage. And it set off his career into like an immortal path where he was untouchable. By the time that 90s run was said and done with, John Sterling was the guy who was going to bridge generations of Yankee fandom. And the way he called it, the emotional way he called those moments, it resonated on just a deeper level with that generation of Yankee fans.
Well, and that's the thing for me, Emmanuel, going back to like the mid-90s, he's doing the games. And I'm growing up, falling asleep, listening to John and Michael Kay. It's Dwight Gooden's no-hitter. It's the 96 World Series. And then it's this grandiose sort of home run call that started, to me, with Bernie Williams. The first one I ever remember is Burn, Baby, Burn. And I felt like that was kind of organic. And then John, being the showman that he is and being the entertainer that he is, he's like, oh, I could do this with Bernie. I could do this with everybody. Like, it became like a part. If you were watching a game and the Yankees had a big moment, even if you weren't listening, I wanted to hear what the Sterling call was going to be because I couldn't wait to hear Sterling go nuts and do a home run and do everything that he does. Like, that to me is the great sign of a broadcaster.
Oh, totally. John called it his cottage industry. His cottage industry is what it became, because it's not like he intended to make a home run call for everybody, but it was by popular demand that it ended up happening for every player. And there was even the John Sterling account on Twitter where people were waiting, bated breath, a new Yankee. What was it going to sound like? What was a big call from that night, even if it wasn't a new Yankee? What was that going to sound like? How did John nail it? And Susan was telling the story today where Burn, Baby, Burn just came out of sheer excitement and emotion, but it turned into something that really spiraled upon itself over the years. Aaron Judge, I was talking to him pregame today about John's legacy, and he was saying how the players in the clubhouse would talk to each other, especially for a new player. What do you think the call was? And they would kind of make odds on what the call would be. And his favorite one was Gio Urshela, the most happy fella. Yeah, because he thought it actually embodied who Gio Urshela was. He would never have a bad day, never show up without a smile on his face. But they would do that. You think what it's like behind the scenes? And John was that legendary. He meant that much, where they would sort of take odds. New Yankee, what is this going to sound like with John Sterling on the mic?
Okay, my top three, Emmanuel. Burn, Baby, Burn is like the iconic one. It's got to be there. Thriller by Godzilla, I love. That's my personal favorite. And then Didi Gregorius makes Yankee fans euphorious. So do you have a favorite Sterling home run call?
I have your number two, Thriller from Godzilla, is my number one. I think that takes the cake for me, just with Matsui being one of my all-time great favorite players, clutch players, 09 World Series, et cetera, et cetera. And the way John called it was so perfect. So he's my number one. I really liked You're on the Mark Teixeira, so I got to give that some love. And I just loved how he would punctuate the call, then he'd go back to, hey, you're on the Mark Teixeira. Like, I just love the way he would wrap up with that, especially with all those back-to-backs with Johnny Damon. And I really have to go. I have to give some love to A-Bomb from A-Rod because that one was just so classic. But I think Thriller from Godzilla takes the cake for me.
Okay, so you're a young broadcaster. You're going in doing this stuff for the pre and post. What was that? Do you remember the first interaction with Sterling? You had to, like, I remember I had my producer call him, Emmanuel, when I'm doing radio in Syracuse. I said, I got his number. Fuck it. Let's call him. Let's see if he comes on. And I told the story earlier. He goes, well, you know, John, I'd love to come on. I'm in Baltimore. I'm going to get myself a cocktail, sit down, and I'm going to give you a call, you know, in that classic John Sterling voice. And I'm like, holy shit, we got John Sterling on the show. This is amazing. Do you remember the first time meeting him? You had to be a little nervous, right?
Oh, 100%. I was definitely in my element, but out of my element, if you will, because I felt, oh my goodness, I'm in the same booth. I'm in the same hallway as John Sterling. That's my broadcast hero who I grew up listening to. And it's one of those meet your hero situations. And it was always a way with John where it's not like I would have to facilitate anything. Everything was unsolicited. Like, he would come up to me. And the way he introduced himself that day, and I was about to start post-game, and he said, oh, you're Emmanuel. He said, oh, well, you do well. Well, you do well, as he was on the way out. And it was short stuff like that. And there was one day during a rain delay, not too long after that, where he just stopped in his tracks. Like, he had a job to do, and he came and he's like, you're great. You're great. And it was that type of encouragement that stuck with you forever, and it made you feel comfortable around him because you knew he wasn't taking it too seriously, and he just wanted to encourage the younger people around him. So you didn't have to facilitate almost any conversation with him because he always had something unique or quirky or funny to say if there was nothing else to say, or he had something to help you along or encourage you.
I got two quickies for you before you go and make your train. I know Aaron Boone said last year this is the best team he ever managed. This team, Emmanuel, and I know it's early. I know it's a month in. Garrett Cole hasn't pitched yet. Carlos Rodon hasn't pitched yet. The American League stinks. This is going to be the Aaron's best chance to go and win a World Series. I can say that without hesitation because they're firing on all cylinders, dude.
Agreed, and I think it's going to really put a magnifying glass on that with the start they're off to. They're going to get to the trade deadline this year, and they're going to look up and say, hey, look, Aaron Judge is 34 years old. He's giving us another all-time season. You talk about the Aarons, Aaron Boone, all the years he's been here with the roster that he really thinks he can do a lot of different things with. It's refreshing for Aaron Boone to have these different weapons that he can fire off the bench. The bullpen will be addressed in different ways, whether you think about the trade deadline or starters moving to the bullpen. But this team is operating two things: a different sense of urgency with the way they play. They're not taking one day for granted. And you can see it and you know it from the way they speak and the way they operate. And the organization top down in the moves that they're making. I look at two things recently. The obvious one is the Volpe Caballero situation. They were not going to send a message to the team that a shortstop who's playing at an elite level on a first-place team is being ripped out of the lineup. They just weren't going to do that. So they're operating differently there. And the fact that over a 2-week span, let's say Stanton's ready in 2 weeks, there could be a world where they say to Jason Dominguez, hey, you've been playing great, you're going back to AAA. They could say to Elmer Rodriguez, Carlos Rodon's ready, you're going back to AAA. These are two guys who could be major parts of this team for 10, 15 years, but they're saying, last year, I don't think they do this. I don't think they bring them up for 2 weeks and say, hey, for this day, you give us the best chance to win. And that's all they're doing right now with these moves. They're saying, what gives us the best chance to win today? I think there's a different level of urgency with how everyone's working within the organization.
Well, I love it. Listen, I talked about the Volpe move. It had to happen. People's shortstop Caballero has been a spark plug. His defense is exquisite. He's running the bases. He's playing with swagger. And you'd put Volpe in a ridiculously unfair position coming back to a first-place team, telling him, oh, now you're the much maligned shortstop. You're taking the popular player's spot. The team is humming. Don't screw it up, kid. Like, it's just let Caballero go 3 for 30. Let the Yankees go lose 8 out of 10, and then maybe ease Anthony Volpe back in. Or maybe, hey, he's got to wait his turn. Or maybe he comes back and is not playing all the time. You're around the team, though, Emmanuel. What do you think Why has this changed? I love it. I think it's a good thing. You think it's a good thing. Do you think there's a particular reason to why?
Some of this is guessing, but some of it's just stuff I've gathered from being around the team. And I think a lot of it has to do with Aaron Judge and the team leadership and realizing last year, hey, look, we finished the year 32-12. Well, that run was the only reason the Yankees tied Toronto with 94 wins. But if they win one more game here or there, they don't get swept by Miami in early August. The Yankees don't have to play Boston. They don't have to rely on Cam Schlittler pitching a historic game in Game 3. They might be at home against Toronto instead of going to Toronto and getting bludgeoned in those first two games in the division series. So everybody to a man knows that. And as much as running it back could be critiqued, the good aspect of running it back, all those guys went through it last year. They all know they were a game away from maybe telling a much different story last year. So I think it's from the top down, like quite literally with management, but also with Aaron Judge, the leader and the captain who has management's ear saying, hey, we're going to move a little bit differently this year. I think there is something to that. And I think this team knows it's not that they weren't trying to win games in sweep series and get greedy last year. You're always trying to win every game, but there's a different edge this year. And there are different ways that they're beating you, man. You see it, I see it. It's not just relying on one aspect of the game every night. I see more unpredictability and volatility in a good way than I've seen since the 09 team. Like, when have we seen teams where one inning it's stealing bases and situationally hitting, and one inning it is the Bronx Bombers, it is the power. You're not waiting around. These are very entertaining baseball games to watch.
Final one, Emmanuel. Listen, Rice to Judge. I hope it's the summer of 61 all over again. Give me a guy who's not hitting in the lineup that's about to get going. Is it Jazz? Is it Wells? McMahon has actually been a little better as of late. Out of the slumping Yankees, as a final thought, who's the guy that might get going here over the next few weeks?
Okay, I'd say McMahon, but he's now hitting, I think, over his last 35 at-bats, he's hitting something like 315. So
yeah, we gotta excuse him on that.
We're going to excuse him. I'm going to say McMahon's already going. Let's put it that way. Caballero's been going at the bottom. He's not even in that conversation. I'm thinking to the bottom of the order, just options to choose from. I'm going to go with the middle of the order right now in Jazz. I just think he's not going to be this inconsistent the entire year. He's a streaky player, don't get me wrong. We've all seen him now 2+ years with the Yankees. He's a streaky player. He's not this streaky. Like, Jazz has even been confused where he started to get going. Remember the time in Boston and Houston, he was going, and now he's not going. So I think we're going to see a 2-week run soon from Jazz Chisholm where the power catches up to the making things happen and the speed. Everyone else, I mean, Trent Grisham, man, he's starting to hit. And Trent Grisham, even for the average this year, he's walking a lot, and runners in scoring position, he's still got that cold blood. He's got that slow heartbeat. So I don't really see any complaints in the Yankee lineup other than maybe Jazz getting going, and I think he will.
You're the best. Thanks for a few minutes. I hope you didn't miss a train on our account.
Oh, all good. We have a couple brewing here, so we're going to catch the next one.
I mean, who's better than Emmanuel Berbari? Radio, pre and post, New York Yankees on the Yankee Radio Network over at FAN. So tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Now, I have this Sterling voicemail. I'm trying to find it here. Oh, I got it. So bear with me if I screw this up. It's technology. I'm trying to do the best I can. But the story I was telling you guys earlier about being at Stu Finer's father's funeral, getting a call right after it was announced John was stepping away, sending a friendly text message, and this is what I get in return.
I noticed that you texted. The only problem is I have a little old flip phone, and the messages I get 2 words, maybe 3 words. John, anyway, so if you want to talk to me, you have to call me. But thanks for your, I'm sure, for your best wishes. Nice to hear from you.
John Sterling, one of a kind. One of a kind. Let's do some YouTube comments before we say goodbye. This is from Doughboy. It's clear to say that Mike Brown outcoached Phillies coach. Not particularly. I think Mike Brown had a good game 1. I didn't look at game 1 as the idea of being outcoached. I just think schematically, Philly has a lot of problems in this series. I think that's the issue. The problem Philly is going to run into is Joel Embiid can't move. And he's going to get exposed on defense. It's going to happen. This one comes from Juan from New York and Oakland. I was focused on how the Knicks would come out. Would they stay locked in, or would they do the slow or sluggish start they have done so often. They didn't. They took care of business. This feels different. I agree with that one. And his favorite Sterling call, Russell shows muscle. Monsieur Martin. I can't do the French, but it's a good one. I wish I could. This one from Junie Man. Do you still listen to voicemails? I left one earlier. So here's the deal. Yes, when we are not doing our stream on YouTube, guys and gals, we will rip voicemails. So I'll give you a little preview of what the schedule looks like for the rest of the week. We're doing our show Wednesday after game 2. We'll be on YouTube streaming the whole deal. Thursday, we'll have a show as well, getting you ready for game 3. That will be a day I take voicemails. Sunday, we'll probably be live, so we probably won't. But 917-382-1151 always applies. This one from Walter, this is a good one. We lost a voice of summer. I think we lost more than that, Walter. We lost the voice of New York. We lost a baseball icon. And we lost the soundtrack of Yankee baseball for my entire life, basically until 2025. So it's still weird in a way to not hear John Sterling doing a Yankee game. And I'm partial. Like, I love hearing my guy Emmanuel on. Anytime Emmanuel's on, it's giddy. That's my guy. And obviously Dave has that job now, and Dave is the voice of the team. So, you're getting used to his patterns. It's just, hey, it's unfair for whoever it might be. They're not John Sterling. That's what I've known my entire life. Like, I knew going in, whenever John stepped away, it was going to be an adjustment period for me. Like, when I get in the car and I drive to SOI and I hear the Yankees and I don't hear John Sterling, it throws me off. Just like next year when Howie Rose steps away. And I think Keith Rad is an incredible broadcaster. I think the Mets are in incredibly good hands with Keith leading that broadcast team. Like, he is witty. He's got a good voice. He's got an unbelievable personality. Like, he is a tremendous, tremendous broadcaster. But what have I known my entire life? It's Howie Rose doing the games. So, yeah, it's an adjustment period. Even with Keith doing a couple, he does 4 innings at a time. And he's doing the color when Howie's calling the game, and he's doing the road games. So you're hearing Keith a lot more. But when you're like hearing a home game and you'll hear Howie or Sterling, yeah. Listening habits, This one from P-Liff. Knicks should be attacking Embiid every chance they get with Cat. Not just with Cat. They should be going after Embiid every single time in the pick and roll and putting him in switches and saying, okay, who's he going to be on? Because he can't move. The great Kenny in Staten Island is sticking with his prediction of Knicks in 5. Well, I went with Knicks in 6. Game 2, I think, is going to tell a better story for the competitive nature of this series. It's going to tell a better story. Knicks are going to win this series. Knicks play like this, they're going to win this series. This one from Mr. Kishke. It seemed like the Sixers were at the free throw line endless times in the first half, yet the Knicks were up by 27 at the half. That's a good sign. The only thing that I could complain about with this game is the Mitchell Robinson foul shooting. And how about that? Minnesota won this game. That's a great – I bet Minnesota plus 2.5 games for the series, so 1 down, 1 to go. And how about Edwards? Edwards is a tough MFer. I love Anthony Edwards' game, so good for them. But the only negative I have is, and I love Mitch. Mitch foul shooting is it's atrocious. Atrocious is an understatement. Chef Guns, LFG, love that. YouTube comments were good. I appreciate that. So feel free to chime in as we are doing these shows. We post a link if you want to call in, you want to chat. We love that. We love the YouTube comments. We love that too. And you got to make sure if you're listening to the pod and you haven't followed the YouTube page, get your ass following the YouTube page immediately. We got all our show content up there. We got all the interviews up there. We got everything you're going to need. That's going to do it for this Game 1 reaction pod. And for the final time on this Monday, we're thinking of the Sterling family. What a brilliant job by Michael Kay paying tribute on the Aaron Judge homer. He did a great job on his radio show, and Yankee Stadium, ball game over. Yankees win for the rest of 2026 and beyond. That tradition should remain. Ain't broke, don't fix it. Rest in peace, John. JJ out. We'll chat on Wednesday. Be good, everybody.